YouTube Go in the Goat House is back with Week 6 power rankings here, updated every single week. Last week, Chiefs were number 1. They went down to the Raiders. We got a new number 1 in town. A lot of big changes at the top. We're going to find out who that is. But again, these are updated every single week. They're not predictions. They're updated on a weekly basis. So it's based on teams' resumes, how they're playing, who's hot, who's cold. If you win, you're going to go up. We're gonna check out the movement as well for each team. We'll break that down here like we do every week. Predictions every week, score predictions every game. We predict every game all year long. Plenty of other videos like fantasy videos, much more. Please subscribe. We much appreciate it. We have a Twitter, constantly talking football on there, keeping you updated, live tweeting during games. Instagram, podcast, Patreon, a lot going on here. Real quick, the Patreon junior score predictions are on there. My lock/bets of the week, against the spread, my favorite picks, over-unders, been doing very well on those. College football score predictions, we also added college football against the spread and money line picks. We also have upset watch taking for the NFL, taking all the underdogs every week, and I give you a percentage they have to pull off the upset there. Pretty cool. Updated playoff predictions will start very, very soon. We keep saying that, but they will start soon. We'll update those every week. Bonus content, videos, Discord access, always adding more. Have added more the last week. A lot going on. Show your support. A lot of you, I appreciate you very much. A lot of people have been signing up. It's awesome. Power rankings. The Jets are still the worst team in football. There's no doubt about it. I don't know if they're going to win a game this year. It's a disaster. It's unfortunate. There's no reason to move them up. The Giants put up a fight against the Cowboys. I didn't find any reason to move them up, though. We're rapid fire here because not a lot of changes at the bottom. Falcons still at 30. Had a chance to pull it off against the Falcons. Matt Ryan, bad interception, kind of kept that, but there was other mistakes within the game, not being able to move the ball, and then letting the Panthers get a pretty good lead, even though the Falcons were on the board first. So they're going to stay put there. They'll play a 1-win Vikings team this week. We'll see if they can get their first win. The Jaguars stay at number 29. Definitely going downhill, definitely going, where we expect them to be, but it was kind of tough to, move them down below these teams, below them. So that's why they stay put there. But yeah, tough one against the Texans last week. Lions this week. Winnable game. We'll see what happens. Washington stays put. Kyle Allen looks like he'll be the guy if he's healthy. It looks like he is. They have a winnable game against the Giants. 28 versus 31. NFC East battle. Somebody's got to win, I think. Could tie. And that'll help put them in a decent chance to win the NFC East by the record. But do they really have a decent chance? I guess time will tell. But Washington, number 28. Broncos moved down 1. It's really not their fault. They didn't play, but they will move down 1 spot. Yeah, they're getting maybe healthier. Drew Lock would come back. So I think a fully healthy Broncos team is much, much better than the number 27 team in football. But based on how they've been playing and how other things have been going, they're number 27 for now. 26, the Bengals moved down 4 spots. Disappointing loss against the Ravens. Just couldn't get the ball in the end zone. It was a bad matchup situation for them. Ravens really brought the blitz. Yeah, they lost to a good team, but pretty disappointing. So they moved down 4 spots, number 26. 25 is the Lions. They had a bye, so them moving down a spot really wasn't their fault. It's just what's going on around them. Something that's kind of a reason that these teams move down a spot or more right here in this 25-27 range, even 24, is because another team kind of had to move up, really. Chargers moved down 1 spot. I think better than their record shows, the Chargers, that is. But they just can't finish games, and that's disappointing here. So that's they didn't move down too much, but they moved down to 24. Got to start winning some ball games. 23, that's the team that kind of forced some teams like the Lions, like the Broncos, that had a bye to move down because the Texans off of their first win, pretty good win, not against the best team, but somewhat impressive there. They got things rolling. So they're up 4 spots, number 23. Tough game against the Titans this week. 22. Eagles, very disappointing this year. They're down 1 spot. Had a chance in the Steelers game. They were kind of playing catch-up, keep up, kind of the whole time. But maybe played a little better offensively than I expect them to, but they're still down 1 spot. The Vikings, maybe a game they should have won. They kind of choked it away against the Seahawks. Maybe played a little better than I expect them to on both sides of the ball. Still lost. They're still very disappointing. By how disappointing the Vikings and the Eagles are this year, they're kind of in the same boat. But for how disappointing they are, kind of want to move them down more. But really, there's no room to move them down below some of the other teams. Number 20 is the San Francisco 49ers, moving down 5 spots. They've been extra disappointing. Yeah, they've been beat up, but it really doesn't change the fact that they've been kind of disappointing all of us on the field there. Garoppolo, see what the situation was with him. We'll see if he plays this week. I expect him to, but he's got to play better. If he's not 100% or not, that he's got to play better. But yeah, they are pretty beat up, but that's just the state of the 49ers right now, and that's why they are around this spot at number 20 here, down 5 spots. Dolphins are the biggest mover, it feels like, so far this year through 5 weeks into week 6 here. After that Jags game, they went way up and they went way back down, and now they're now they're back up here, 6 spots. A dominant win over the San Francisco 49ers. Dolphins want to see them stay consistent. I feel like it's a team that actually can beat almost anybody, maybe not anybody, but almost anybody, then probably can lose to almost anybody. We'll see, though. If I feel pretty confident this week against the Jets, we're going to see. Dolphins have been pretty impressive, though. Defense, they got a good game plan, got a couple studs. Feel like they're playing as a team. Offense looks good. Fitzpatrick's dealing there. The receivers look really good. Young offensive line that looks way better than expected. So they've been impressive. That's why they're up 6 spots. Number 19. Number 18, the Cardinals up 1 spot. Game they should win against the Jets. They did get a win. So that's the good thing there after coming out having a disappointing 2-game losing streak. So they'll move up 1 spot. Definitely want to see more from them to move them up even more. The Cowboys up 1 spot. I think they're probably better than the record shows, but they have been a little disappointing this year. But off a pretty solid win, not against the best team. The Cardinals and the Cowboys are in the same boat. I think the Cowboys, the amount of, and they actually play each other this week. Just remember that. They actually play each other, so that'd be big. The Cowboys have shown me a little more, they've been a little more impressive on offense, even with injuries. So I guess that'll be the difference there between the two. But 17 versus 18 this week, that'll be interesting for sure. A game that can go either way, even though Dak's out. I could trust Andy Dalton. It is tough without the 2 stud tackles, left and right, Tyrone Smith, La'el Collins. But they definitely can still be a sneaky team, win ball games. 16 is the Colts, down 5 spots. Disappointing outing against the Browns. They were kind of in the game, and then they were really out of the game. And I thought it was pretty much over from there. It kind of ended up being, but they kind of came back in that game. But it really wasn't because of their offense. The offense is extremely disappointing. Phillip Rivers has been disappointing. Defensively, they've been solid. Their corners really couldn't keep up with some of these receivers, though. But yeah, they're kind of hanging on there by their defense, so far this year. So they get a true test there, and they're a little disappointing. But yeah, they had a chance to win. They weren't at full strength, but yeah, still somewhat of a disappointing loss. They're down 5 spots, number 16 there. 15, Buccaneers had a disappointing loss as well. Another team that wasn't at full strength, but at the end of the day, a game you expect them to win, especially how it's going, you expect them to win. But they followed the Bears there, so they're down 7 spots. I'm really not super worried, because I predict them to have a pretty good season, but that was mainly down the stretch of the season. So losses like that, I almost, in a way, expected to come up. Maybe not that specific one. I'm not really worried long term, but I am worried about, and Brady looks fine throwing the ball. There's some throws you would like back, but there was also some throws in that game where they got called back that were fantastic by him. They got called back for holding or whatnot, and yeah, I think they'll pick it up down the stretch. What I worry about is something I'm noticing is the quarterbacks that really can't escape the pressure, get outside the pocket because their legs are it's going to be tougher for them to go the distance this year, and that's kind of the situation there. Even though I trust Brady, I guess that would be the knock on him there in Tampa. But a talented team. They'll get healthier this week against a very good Packers team. Let's see if they can bounce back. Down 7 spots, though. 14's the Panthers. They're on a 3-game winning streak. They're very impressive. More of a test this week against the Bears. If they can get that win, though, they should shoot up because it's a more impressive win on the resume, and that'll mean a 4-game winning streak, so they will shoot up because of that. But they've been shooting up the last couple weeks, so very impressive. Teddy Bridgewater impresses me every week. The 2 receivers, Mike Davis, the coaching staff, the play calling. Defense, I've talked about defense is way better than it's expected to be. I still don't have full trust in it every single week, but it is way better than I expected to be. I think all of us did. And I think the reason for that is because where the league's heading. Offenses are getting pretty tricky. They're getting more spread. Offenses, more RPO looks, just quick, high tempo, quick plays. We're going towards college football offenses. We all know that. And I think that's a reason why the Panthers are succeeding. They have a young defense. They're kind of used to it. They're fresh out of college. They're kind of used to it. They got a college defensive coordinator. All these veteran players and veteran defensive coordinators are so used to one thing. So that could be a reason why the Panthers defense is playing better than expected. We'll see how they can handle the Bears. The Bears are mainly a defensive team. The Panthers, I think, mainly an offensive team. So that'll be a good battle there. But the Panthers coming in at number 14. They've been very impressive. 13 is the Patriots. They moved down a spot. They had a bye. So it's not their fault. They kind of just moved down a spot because another team had to move up. Another team or two. Actually, some other teams moved down. So there's just back and forth movement. You got to pay attention to the movement around the teams here, not just pay attention to one team. But they're at 13. They're a very good team, though. They're going to get Cam back here. 12 is going to be the Saints. Move up one spot. 2 games in a row they win there, and they had to come from behind. A little bit of a sloppy game. I know they're better than that, but a little bit of a sloppy game. They pulled out the W, a game I thought the Chargers should have won. But they're on the right track, back on the right track there. So the Saints up one spot here to number 12. Number 11 is the Raiders, up 6 spots. I mean, you beat the number 1 team, you're going to move up quite a bit there. They were fresh off a 2-game losing streak. That those were matchup issues, I guess, with those teams. But at the end of the day, they were off a 2-game losing streak, but they really stepped it up, beating the Chiefs, finding the game plan, the right game plan. Even though they gave up some points, I was impressed with their defense down the stretch of that game, but the offense was extremely impressive. Derek Carr, guys like that, extremely impressive. And they are up 6 spots to number 11. So that's a big-time win. They couldn't go on that 3-game losing streak, so they had to step up there. That's huge for the Raiders. So number 11. Number 10 is going to be the LA Rams. No movement there. They've impressed me this season so far, both sides of the ball. So that's what kind of got them in the top 10 range. Only losses to the Bills. A game they could have won. They started off really sloppy in that game, but last couple games, pretty much free wins. They went out and did win. I guess there's really no such thing as a free win, so I shouldn't say that. I want to see a little more of a test. They played the Niners this week, so they're at number 10, still looking pretty strong. Number 9 is the Chicago Bears, up 5 spots, beating a pretty good team in the Buccaneers. They're in a tight ball game. Bears are just finding ways to get the job done there. The defense seems like it's getting better. The offense could get better because I think Nick Foles kind of getting in his groove, getting better. The only way I could argue against that is that they seem to be one-dimensional, and they seem to have kind of unique plays or small ball plays to kind of get them going. And teams can start the game plan for that, and they're going to have to start running the ball better to make things, I should say, easier, but really not to make things not impossible for Nick Foles there. But yeah, they look very impressive. It's a big-time win against the Bucs there. So they're 5 spots inside the top 10 for the Chicago Bears. Number 8 is the Browns, move up 1 spot. I almost want to move the Browns up higher, but it's tough to move them ahead of the top 7 teams. So that's kind of the problem there. But they're streaking. They're feeling it right now. It's a big-time win against the Colts. We saw that was a big statement game, offense versus defense, and they came out victorious. It was a big-time game for them. I felt like they completely outplayed them, but they did make things interesting at one point. So I want to try to avoid that if I'm the Browns. But very impressive. Top 8, top tier here of the teams here, looking pretty good for them. Steelers this week, winner of that game could possibly, depends on what happens to the other teams, could possibly definitely shoot up the rankings here. The Browns, very impressive there. I guess we probably didn't expect to see a lot. Look at 8, 9, 10, 11. Most of us probably didn't expect to see those teams in those spots. Those teams have been very impressive. 7's the Bills, down 3 spots. They got beat up pretty bad against the Titans. At the end of the day, were the Bills at full strength? Is that the best the Bills can be? No. But that's kind of assuming things down, and I'm confident about that. But that's kind of assuming things. Fresh off that loss, Titans were beat up and missing guys because of the illness. So that's a game, and then the amount of time the Titans missed. It's a game you almost expect the Bills to win, and they got outplayed by a good amount there. So a little sloppy. They still have a pretty good resume there. I guess like a game like the Jets isn't, but in terms of what they showed me on the field this year, I'm still very much impressed and still very much like the Bills team, but you got to move down a little bit from that game. So they're down to number 7. Number 6 is going to be the Ravens, up 1 spot. Honestly, the Browns win looks pretty good. I don't really have too many takeaways from week 1. That's just something I'm never going to really have, but it's there. But that Browns win was pretty good. Other than that, do they really have, are they that impressive? I just know they're a really good team. The Chiefs' loss was tough. It was the Chiefs. So they're kind of just sticking around where they have been here since that loss at number 6. So But they have been impressive in ways. I just want to see more of a win, more of a test here to put them back up to where they started is my point. But obviously a top-tier team here. 5's the Steelers. Really impressed with the Steelers over because of their balance. They're able to, produce on offense and defense. Defense feels like it's dead in the NFL. I still think the defense of the Steelers might be the best in football. It's not really saying much, but it's mainly because they're front seven. But they did give up some points to the Eagles there, But I am impressed with them, But I just really couldn't move them up a spot here. I needed another. They play the Browns this week, 5 versus 8, big time. That'll help to get on their resume because they haven't really beat anybody that spectacular yet. I'm not holding that against them too much, but that I don't deduct points for that really, obviously, or rankings. But if you have a statement win, obviously I have to move you up. So that's kind of my point there. But they have been impressive. Top 5 team here. They're going to stay at number 5. 4 is going to be the Chiefs, moving down 3 spots, no longer undefeated. Still view them as a top tier team. I think all of us do. Tough. The Raiders matched up pretty well against them in that game. So unfortunate loss, but still, they've proven, especially with a game like the Ravens win. They've proven that they're one of the top tier teams. But they did move down 3 spots for that loss. It's not the best loss there. So they moved down from 1 to number 4. Number 3, the Seahawks are going to stay put here. They actually got outplayed by the Vikings. They did win the game because, they're the better team, mainly because of Russell Wilson, DK Metcalf, guys like that at the end of the day. They're going to need Jamal Adams back out there. Undefeated, still a dangerous contender team. So they'll stay at number 3 here. In the top 2, we got the Titans and we got the Packers left. And it's you can argue. Honestly, I thought about this. But I'm going to go with the Titans at number 2, up 4 spots, a dominant win over the Bills. The lack of practice, the lack of players. They had some practice squad receivers out there, and it's not like Derrick Henry carried them to victory. It was a team win there. Ryan Tannehill looked fantastic. Defense stepped up against a really good team in the Bills at times. Titans are a very, very good team. We see it in that moment. They're not even at full strength, and they're able to dominate, put up 42 points. Very impressive. People were a little worried about, how about the rest of the resume, who they beat. They got out there and got wins, but then this one really adds to that. It is a dominant win. That's almost enough of a win to get you to number 1. Maybe you wish they had a little more of those. But I do have the Packers at number 1, even though you could argue the Titans because what they just did against the Bills and what since the Packers didn't play. So that was kind of my thinking, but I didn't really think too much about this. You look at the season as a whole here, who's been the most dominant team? I think it's been the Packers. The offense has been the most dominant, most consistent, even with guys out. Aaron Rodgers has been MVP-like, elite. Aaron Rodgers for sure has showed up. And then you could question, what about the defense? They've given up some points, and they have a little bit, and they've gotten better. But what do they have? They take away the deep ball with their playmakers downfield, with their corners, with their safeties. Jair Alexander playing out of his mind. The safety duo is pretty damn good. And they have that kind of game-changing pressure type player, which is that important in Zadarius Smith. And those things, not only do they have those things, but have they showed up? They've showed up, I thought. Maybe they've given up a little more yards than, everybody's been giving up yards, though. I don't think there's anything wrong with this defense right now. I think this is based on what they've done this season. I think this is easily the best team in football of what they should, even though they're fresh off a bye. A big game against the Buccaneers. Buccaneers are better than the number 15 next to their logo there. So that's going to be a really good game. That's going to be a really good game. Buccaneers getting back to full strength there. We'll see if the Packers can as well. So I'm excited about that one. Definitely one that can go either way. But the Packers have been the best team in football through 5 weeks, heading into week number 6. And that's why they are number 1 for right now here. So, again, a lot of big games. A lot of big games here. We got Steelers-Browns for sure. Looking forward to that. Bears-Panthers, that's 9 versus 14. Looking forward to that. The Buccaneers-Packers, like I said. Cowboys-Cardinals, 17 versus 18. That's interesting. A lot of pretty good games. Even the Rams-Niners could be a sneaky good game there for sure. So I'm excited for this week and excited to see if these could actually change. We see the Chiefs going down, how much anticipation this has, how much change there is at the top there. Not much at the bottom. Not much going on at the bottom there. Obviously, that can change with this week. So I'm excited to keep going on with these power rankings every single week. Let me know your thoughts. Please smash that like button if you enjoyed these. We started rookie power rankings. That's something new. That's already on the channel for this week. Weekly picks tonight, actually, Wednesday the 14th. Week 6 picks with the boys. Got score predictions coming on Thursday. No Thursday night game, so we're able to do these things a little later. The Tuesday night game pushed it back, but all kinds of content here. We got you covered, always adding more. Check out that Twitter. Check out that Patreon. Link in the description, comments for those. Appreciate the support. Thanks, everyone, for watching. That's going to do it for this one. Goodbye.